Hey, Isabella.
What?
Have you seen the Zamoth?
The Zamoth?
So the Utah Mammoth, the newest hockey team in the NHL, unveiled their new Zamboni. Do you know what a Zamboni is?
Obviously.
I'm sorry. I was just asking.
That's like the main thing that a ice sport fan knows about is the fucking Zamboni. Hell yeah, I love her.
Hell yeah. Well, you're going to really love her. So the Zamoth, you should look it up. They unveiled it. It is their new Zamboni. It looks like a mammoth.
Wait, let me look it up real quick.
Actually the Zamboni from the 2002 Salt Lake City Olympics, and they refurbished it to look... Yeah, I knew you'd like this.
With the little horns?
Yeah.
Oh my god. They should make every Zamboni look like that.
That was my first thought, was like, why has no one else like gamified the Zamboni or turned it into an anthropomorphic animal or whatever?
We don't need to try hard words right now.
I'm sorry. I felt like I needed to try it. You can fit 8 fans on it.
I was gonna say, can we write it?
So they're putting fans on it, which I think is another cool thing. I know sometimes they do that at some games. They'll have like one fan ride in like the seat, but this one looks like a party bus compared to the others. I will say, watching it last night in the footage, the guy with the steady cam, I don't think we had room for him. I think he had to go. It was watching him with that like rig, trying to like filming the fans that are like, it was a little too packed on its inaugural
I see him.
ride.
I think I see him.
Yeah.
But in the way behind.
It was kind of a lot, but I like the concept and I'm into it. Are you into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
Let's
So
do this.
More Zamoths, more Zambonis that are also animals, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. This episode is presented by GMC. We are professional grade. Hello! Hi. Welcome to Casuals, a sports podcast. It doesn't care what you know. Please don't leave. Stay. It's weird. We talk about sports, but not in a boring way, because sports are for everybody. It's a whole thing. I'm Katie Nolan. I'm the host. We have an incredible guest coming up today, Charlotte Flair. I mean, how many times has she won stuff? I should probably say 17 time, I feel like. She's got a lot of championships, Brady. How many is it?
14
Close.
world titles in WWE.
Thank you. That's a lot. She's incomparable, uncomparable, nobody like her, and we get to talk to her in advance of WrestleMania, which is coming up soon. Before we get into that, we have a lot of sports stories to talk about and catch you up on. A lot of little stuff, so we're just going to kind of yap about these things with the casualties. That's the production crew here at SiriusXM. We've got Isabella, our sports newbie.
Hi.
We got Chris, our master editor.
What's up?
And then Brady.
Still looking for the right Tim. I got an email from one Tim, and it wasn't the one that won the bracket challenge.
You got one email from a Tim?
Yeah.
And it was just
I expected more fake Tims.
Yeah, me too. Nobody even wants... Well, maybe it's because we didn't say what you'd win. Maybe it's because we gave no specifics about what they would actually be getting. It was a car, so you guys missed out on it, okay? You probably should have emailed.
It was a Zamoth.
If you want to... I wish.
How cool would that
Make
be?
it street legal. If you do want to reach out to us by email, not to say that you're Tim, but it's casualswithkatienolan@gmail.com. We're going to get to some of those at the end of the show today. Our voicemail 646-801-0043. On IG and TikTok, we are at Casuals the Podcast. Before we get to Charlotte Flair, we got to talk about some stuff. First of all, Michigan won the national championship. This had already happened before, but we couldn't really talk to you about it, so it just felt like our due diligence to say that they did, in fact, win. 69-63, the final score. End of the game didn't really do it for me. Chris, I know this is your Super Bowl. So anything stand out to you from this game you wanted to make sure everybody knew?
A lot of missed three-pointers.
Yeah.
A lot of missed three-pointers. It was almost the worst three-point shooting performance in a national championship game combined of all time.
Wow.
Didn't quite make it. They were 0.2% away.
Wow.
But still just not the best way to end what was a fun tournament. At least it was somewhat close, I guess. I think Alex Caraban had a chance to cut the lead to maybe 1 point if he hit a three-pointer with about 40 seconds to go. He missed it, and then the game was sort of over after that. But, yeah, a little bit of a lackluster end to the tourney, unfortunately.
Damn, so you're basically saying no one from that team is getting drafted.
Whoa.
Not saying that.
That sounds like what he said.
Isabella saying
I don't want to misquote him, but that's exactly what he said. So If you have an
Isabella's
issue
the
with
talent
that-
scout of the casuals
Yeah.
The casualties
Obvious.
of whatever we are.
I don't even think she has to. We have to say that.
I can't believe
clear.
Why are you being
Very
so...
clear.
Yeah.
While we're updating on tournament stuff, did you guys see Gino put out a second statement in regards to his argument with Dawn Staley? At least in this one, he did name her. He did specifically say that he was sorry to Dawn Staley, and he said that he has lost more in the Final Four than anybody else, but that day he lost something more important. He lost himself. And like, I don't, blah, blah, blah. Dawn Staley put out a statement first. These are in between the two Gino statements. And Dawn's was written, I saw it on one of my feeds, and said basically like, let's drop it. I've got respect for the coach and everything he's done she took the high road. And listen, I understand the way the world works. I understand why Dawn Staley feels like she's got to do that. I do resent that she has to do that because I don't think that was the situation that was given to her. I think she's well within her rights to be able to go, listen here, Gino. And I hope, because Gino's statement says that the two of them talked, I hope that when they talked, she said, listen here, Gino. Like, I really hope she got to at least voice a bit of her frustration with him for the absolute heap of garbage he dropped into her lap right before she had to go play in the national championship game. That being said, they're asking us to move on. I choose not to, and that's my prerogative. I choose to hold a grudge here on Dawn Staley's behalf, but we can drop it like media-wise if you'd like. I think that's what they're both asking us to move on.
I need like 3 or 4 more apologies from Gino. Because, I mean, they keep getting more sincere. That's how apologies work when you do a take 2, take 3. So eventually I think he'll get it right.
I don't often do second and third takes. And if I do, I would hope I would acknowledge in the second and third that, like, my previous attempt was insufficient. So whatever. He's not ever going to do it right. So we're supposed to, what I'm learning from feedback on the internet right now, as women, we're supposed to just go, thank you for being nice to me, Mr. Man. So that's what we'll do. We'll just do that so we can all move on. Speaking of Mr. Man, Michael Malone. I cannot believe you wrote Mike in the rundown. You almost got me in some real trouble here, Brady, because his name is not Mike Malone. It's the only thing, unfortunately, for Michael Malone. My lasting memory of him is not that he helped the Nuggets win a championship that year. It's that he corrected my friend Cassidy Hubbarth on the air when she called him Mike during an interview. She said, Mike, blah, 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 blah. And he said, it's Michael.
Mike
forever. So you just got to stick with coach and then just leave it at that.
But I'm also like, listen, it's not like she called you the entirely wrong name. And I've said this before and we'll say again here for good measure. I am of the mindset that you should always, if you have your name the way you like it pronounced, if people are doing it wrong, you should correct them. You should stand up and correct them and let them know because it's your name. You only get one. That being said, when your name is Michael... Mike is not a crazy shortening. It's not calling you Mikey. It's calling you Mike. Mickey. She's not like being disrespectful. It's just like Mike is a very common. And if that's not how you prefer to be called, I would say in that situation, later when you see Cassidy Hubbarth, because it's not the last time you're going to see her, you go, hey, by the way, I prefer Michael. So not a huge deal, but if you wouldn't mind just Michael Malone. I don't know why, I just don't go by Mike. But on camera to go, it's Michael. I was like, okay, well now it's not. Now it's Mike.
Now it's Mikey, actually.
As it says here, Mikey Malone. The point I'm making is UNC hired him. I have a question.
Yes.
What is UNC's deal with that? Why do they like a pro coach?
That's what Bubba Cunningham does. He has a type.
Hey, at least this pro coach is 20 years younger than their football coach.
Yeah.
That's something.
20 years older than a football coach's girlfriend.
I think
25?
his daughter plays, I think, volleyball on UNC.
Yeah, she's a freshman on the volleyball team.
So hopefully that will, I don't know, I'm saying hopefully, deter him from entering into a relationship with anybody at that age. But who's to say? And we love, okay? So we support them. So Michael Malone's going to be the head coach. He has not coached in college since he was an assistant at Manhattan in 2001.
It's been a while.
I was a freshman in high
rough
school.
time to be an assistant coach in Manhattan.
I know, Brady. We don't make 9/11 jokes on this podcast, okay? Clean it up.
Was not a joke. I'm saying that's a rough time to be an assistant coach, and that's his lasting
now
memory
all
in college
the Gen
basketball.
Z listeners are laughing because they think it's funny.
That's on them.
I know.
Sick fucks.
He was also an assistant at Jay-Z. You just called all of Gen Z sick fucks. It's not great. It's not great.
You have one here, Brady.
You're millennial adjacent. I refuse to acknowledge you as Gen Z.
There's people in my age bracket who call themselves zillennials. I don't know if I want to use the term, but whatever.
Yeah. Interesting.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. We've got a what am I talking about? He was an assistant at Providence in 1995. In the 1900s, he was an assistant at Providence and Oakland. So I don't think those are necessarily relevant. He has mostly been a pro guy. He's also the first head coach since Frank McGuire in 1951 to be hired by UNC, I assume, without a prior connection to the university. So feels like that coaching search did not go the way that they wanted it to, because there were a lot of names being thrown around, and this really wasn't one of them. Right, Chris?
Correct. It was a very left field choice in the end. I think it caught everyone off guard, because initially we heard Tommy Lloyd from Arizona, his name being bandied about, Dusty May from Michigan, Ben McCullum from Iowa. We heard Billy Donovan, who's the coach at Chicago Bulls. Michael Malone's name wasn't really mentioned. I think Tyler Hansbrough, former UNC great, might have mentioned him as a potential candidate at some stage over the weekend, but that was sort of it. But in the end, Tommy Lloyd re-signed at Arizona. Dusty May decided to go back to Michigan. Ben McCullum didn't want to come over to UNC. And Billy Donovan said, if you want me, you're going to have to wait until the end of the season because I'm still coaching for Chicago. And we've got a week left in the season. And because the transfer portal opened earlier this week, UNC are like, well, we need to hire our coach now so we're not playing from behind. And they went with Mike Malone, and it's got UNC fans absolutely split. Some people think it's a really, really good hire. Some people think it's a terrible hire. And so it's hard to know what to think about it at the moment.
And it's a tough time, I think, in college sports because it's so different. Everything is changing in terms of the makeup of the sport and the strategies of how to build your team.
Yeah.
And so to bring somebody in with no experience I can't tell if it's like less of a hampering because nobody has experience with it this way, or if it's more of a hindrance because it's like you don't even know the way we were doing it right before we started doing it this way. So now you're coming in and trying to learn the whole thing at once.
Yeah, it's sort of better because you don't have to be the best recruiter to be a good college coach
Right.
now. You just have to have the most amount of money to be able to throw at these recruits. So from that sense, him not having a recruiting background definitely works. He can bring in his own GM because in college basketball and in college football, the way that GMs are brought on is they are hired by the coach. So he can bring in someone that he knows and trusts to help build the roster for him. He won't have as much of the burden on actually building the roster as coaches did 5 years ago, for instance. But it's still a different landscape. You're still dealing with younger kids. You're still dealing with, a completely different ecosystem. So how he's going to be able to adapt to that is going to be fascinating to see. But at least nowadays, with the NIL being implemented, it should make that transition a little bit
easier. Well, let's look at the reverse transition because, guys, I hate to tell you again, but Tony Vitello is back in the news. So we've talked to you about Tony Vitello. He is the manager of the San Francisco Giants. He made the switch from being a college baseball manager to being a pro manager. Brady, correct me if I'm wrong, first guy to make that jump directly.
Yeah. I mean, unless we're talking about like somebody, first guy in any modern history.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was at Tennessee, yes?
Yes.
Which we should maybe talk about their basketball team in a second because something's going on there as well. But let's do one thing at a time. Tony Vitello is now the manager of the San Francisco Giants, and everybody was like, how is it going to be to go from college to the pros? And as we have kept track of on this podcast, it has not been going fantastically. He's got a knack for saying stuff when he really could have said nothing. Funny enough, I heard Mark DeRosa, the manager of the American WBC team, Team USA, another guy who put his foot in his mouth a lot, talking about Tony Vitello on MLB Network the other day and going like, I heard some people say he should take a lesson from my experience at the WBC. And everyone jumped in and was like, no, and I'm sitting on my couch going, yeah, I agree. He should shut his mouth because Tony Vitello has done it again. He said something crazy again. I think we have to come up with a segment. I think we got to make this, I don't know if it's weekly. I'd love it not to be weekly, Tony. As a woman marrying a Giants fan who's a little frustrated right now, I'd love this to be a monthly segment. But every time he says something crazy, I think we do like a go Vitello it on the mountain. Perhaps. We'll get some sort of sound for it. Let's go ahead and play what Tony Vitello said this week.
I thought a couple things we were able to keep from you guys, which was great. If you lump those two and the one you're referencing with just kind of the meeting on the mound, we've really only had 3 things that have been, I don't want to say controversial because that's a mislabel, but kind of some intensity back and forth a little bit. And at the end of the day, too, like that is minor. But it's a cuss words involved, so it's something for you guys to talk about for good reason. I would too. And then it gets repeated, and then the guy who's had too many beverages in the stands brings it up, and all this, and it gets turned into a deal. But yeah, it all of a sudden becomes an entity when all it is. But that's the nature of, like, I wouldn't be sitting here in college. I don't know if you guys would be too if there was Twitter or cameras all over the place. Yeah. I might be in jail or something like that.
Wait, huh?
Okay, there's a lot. We got to parse a lot of it. But the one piece I'd like to focus on first is the way when he goes, I don't know if I'd be sitting here in college if there was Twitter and cameras, and you hear one little reporter go, yeah. Clearly encouraging him to keep going when really, dude, what are you talking about?
Yeah, keep going.
He goes, yeah, totally. And in what ways would we be in jail? So he's talking about, he randomly tells them, unprompted, that there have been 3 little dust-ups already. We're like 10 games into the season. 3 dust-ups in the locker room, 3 issues they've had amongst the team. And he says at one point, like, we managed to get 2 of them without you guys noticing. Like, well, and I guess that's over now, Tony, because here you are telling people about them. But he goes on to say that, if there were Twitter and cameras back when he were a player, he'd be in jail?
You guys all committed felonies, right? Right?
He just feels like a guy that's trying to make a joke, but not even at all considering what it sounds like to a reporter.
You guys all love Kanye, right? Right,
and he references a drunk guy in the stands who hears a player curse at another player so it becomes something more than it is, which isn't what happened. It was, we all saw the players cursing at each other and went, that's interesting. Drunk guy in the stands be damned. And then he goes, you're all talking about it, which I would too. It's with good reason. So now he's playing both sides of that, where he's like, it's really nothing, but of course you have to talk about it. But of course you have, buddy, figure out what you want to say before you say it. Say that and then be silent. I think that's the best advice that I can give, because he just is constantly, every day I go, hey, Dan, I hate to tell you. And he goes, not Vitello again. And I go, yeah, this time he said, he keeps stepping in it at a time when really, say less, just say less. It's not hard. But I do want to point something out. Brady, you mentioned we were talking about Bubba Cunningham, the AD for North Carolina. And you said maybe he has a type. Something's going on at the San Francisco Giants where they've got a type, because Tony Vitello was kicked out of a game, one of these games, in like the 9th inning last week. And whoever became the de facto guy, whoever was making mound visits after him, looked so much like Tony Vitello. And then you compare that to Gabe Kapler, who was the GM of this team previously, and they've all got this perfectly lined up beard. I don't know what that is, but whoever's in charge of the guys in charge of the Giants, I think has a type.
I have to wonder, is there somebody in the Giants clubhouse that is bringing around a Dominican barber?
Maybe that's what it is. It seems like I was like, these are all clones of the same guy. Why does everybody managing the Giants kind of look like the same handsomely barbered guy? Something to look into. Conspiracy theories.
Pablo?
What?
Pablo, get on that.
For real. Tennessee women's basketball. Can somebody please? Is nobody on the team? What's going on?
Oh, they've got 2 players.
Okay, that's
far.
Isabella and I make up a basketball team.
Yep.
With her dunking skills.
We could do an
Two
unrivaled
commits.
2v2.
That's right.
They can still decommit if they wanted to, but as of right now, they've got 2 commits. They've got no returning players.
So everybody left.
Everybody's left.
They're in the transfer portal.
They had 4 players graduate. They had 8 players enter the transfer portal.
Whoa.
And then they've had now 2 commits coming out of high school who are now on the roster. Obviously, this can change very quickly. But as of right now, they've only got 2 players signed to their roster for next season.
I feel like Iowa State is going through something similar, that they've lost a lot of players. Is this just the way that it's going to be now with the transfer portal, the way that
Yes,
it is?
especially if you don't run your program very well.
Okay, so there is that. There is that little, which is tough because
Yes.
Tennessee was such like a storied program in women's basketball.
In the Pat Summit years, absolutely.
Yeah, so this is kind of like a real bummer. Is this something we should be really worried about, or do you think this is going to figure itself out?
Oh,
What's
if you're a Volunteers fan, you should absolutely be worried, but
Yeah.
I don't care.
You don't care. Wow, that's sick.
I'm more
I
hyped
love that.
for, you mentioned Iowa State having no players. That means that Audie Crooks is in the transfer portal, and like that is players of that magnitude, players who can score 28 a game like she does, like that doesn't. You don't get them available. Like that's going to sway the entire balance of power in women's college basketball next year.
Yeah, and that's a huge deal. So I just feel like it's hard to know what's going on in college sports for a person that didn't pay a lot of attention to college sports. Just across the board right now, I'm drowning, okay? Every time I feel like I get an understanding of how it works, it's like, oh, all those people left. Okay, and then they hired a pro coach. Okay, and then I just don't understand. So if it's okay with everybody, because of the name of the show, I'm like gonna kind of remove myself from the narrative, and we'll like check back in when we know more.
I think that's fine.
Thank you,
Yes,
Chris.
I'll give you
Just
permission.
please, my God, there's so much to get to, and it's all stressing me out. What's going on with FIFA World Cup tickets? Should we push that off? Is that too deep? Is that business related? It seems to me, from what I've seen on my algorithm, is that people were buying tickets. They're doing this whole complicated rollout of tickets with there's all different times to purchase. And then there's people who have purchased tickets they thought were in the best tier, but then they're finding out that actually the best seats are all being held to be given to VIPs and sponsors and et cetera, et cetera. And then they pulled the seat maps off of some of the websites so you can't tell where your seat is. Something's going on.
For Category 1 tickets, if you bought, if you just paid into the most expensive tier, there were all these color-coded sections in the stadiums, and you'd be like, all right, at some point they're just gonna have a lottery and tell me where in the stadium my Category 1 ticket is. Miraculously, some of those seating maps have changed, and now there are some sections up high that are now Category 1. So where you paid to be down low, you paid to be in certain areas. Now there's some other areas that you didn't want that you might be getting tickets in.
How could you legally do that? If I bought a ticket thinking it was down low, and now you moved it?
You can do it because nothing's illegal and anyone can get away with anything.
It's really annoying.
That's absurd. Tickets in general for any event have been a nightmare in the last, I feel like, 4 or 5 years. But this especially, is the World Cup okay?
No.
Are they going to sell out these games that are between smaller countries? I feel like
Surely not.
they're taking a lot for granted. Yes, there are going to be diehard fans of these soccer countries and of bigger countries that have sports fans and that can easily travel to the United States. There's going to be a lot of countries in here that don't have diehard followings within the United States. That this amount of money they're charging for tickets, are these stadiums going to be empty on TV?
No, they'll use AI.
Thanks, girl.
No problem.
You're always there to help me feel worse better.
Yeah.
You're always there to make me feel better by making me feel scared. And I
Sometimes
2020
you
where
gotta
we
feel
turned on
scared in order
games
to
and there
feel
were
better.
cardboard cutouts in the stands.
Oh, do you guys
You're like,
remember
wait,
that?
these aren't
Yeah.
Isabella, you missed a scary time in sports during the pandemic where people were like, well, wait, what are we going to do without fans? And so everybody tried something
I remember
different.
you telling me about this. They put cardboard cutouts of people. That's crazy.
It was absolutely
It would
crazy.
just be people who
and
work there,
really
just
brutal.
finding bodies and making copies.
It was just very brutal. Baseball brawl? There was a baseball brawl. We had a brawl in a baseball game. And now sometimes that just means a bunch of bodies running out in the field and nobody touching each other. This was not one of those times. The Angels and the Braves. What happened was Jorge Soler, his first at-bat, hit a home run. His second at-bat, he got hit. And then his third at-bat, Ronaldo Lopez, that's his first name, yes?
Yeah.
Threw a little high and a little inside, and he took exception to the pitch, and he eventually charges the mound, and I think Lopez had a baseball in his hand and swung at him.
Yeah, you rarely get the ball back in time for the brawl. He got the ball back and was just punching Soler with the ball in his hand, knocked his helmet off with it.
Yeah, that's not cool, I don't think. I don't think you should hold some of the equipment. We did favorite baseball brawls on fan service today, and someone called in and talked about a time that a bat was swung at a head, and that's crazy. Let's not be doing that. I did like seeing punches connect. It's not what stood out to me about this brawl. What stood out to me, the moment before it happens. This was one of the longer standoffs between the batter and the pitcher, where you can see the batter has squared towards the pitcher, is not ready to take an at-bat, is clearly thinking about running at the mound. And the pitcher is like, are you going to run at the mound? And they did like a slow walk towards each other. And I just want to say, this happened to me last week as well. It's time for me to admit, I'm willing to admit, that watching Heated Rivalry may have fundamentally changed something about my brain chemistry.
You wanted them to kiss.
I did. I'm not kidding. The moment where they're kind of like walking towards each other is so charged. There is no way I'm the only one who felt it, okay? And I'm just it's a safe space. It's my podcast. I'm sorry. I thought that I had just had my first experience of watching the show. It was great, lovely, always been an ally, will be an ally till I die. I didn't realize that it changed something here. So now in this moment, instead of feeling tension like they're gonna fight, I went, are we about to fucking do this?
I had a similar moment last night, actually, in another sports moment with that Blue Jays coach and the ref, and he was like in his face, and I was like, all right, just fucking kiss already.
Damn. Yeah, it's changed us. And the reason I had this last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, there was a clip from something, God knows what, where Mike Vrabel was squared up with somebody, like a player. He was on him, and they were like shoving each other and getting physical, and everybody was sharing it to be like, look at Vrabel as a coach. Love that he's hands-on. And I watched that clip and was like, I'm different. I don't, that's different for me now. I like that in a different way. So I won't be watching clips like that. And no, we're not going to probably talk about Mike Vrabel, okay? Because I don't know any, this is a weird story that has broken last night that I've been, watching, and it involves a friend and the head coach of my team. I don't have any inside information. I'm along with you. I am going to hope that it's a misunderstanding that has occurred, but it does feel like we can't not mention it. I don't want to do... Someone help?
We should not talk about it.
I know, thanks.
We should just not talk about it. There is a story with Mike Vrabel. And if you've been listening this far and wondering when is Katie going to talk about it,
that was it.
That was it.
It happened. I'm not saying it happened. I'm saying that was me talking about it. I don't know. I found out on my timeline yesterday. I saw the pictures. I will say there's one picture in particular that it doesn't look fantastic, but I don't, the way that we release these, there's so much time between when I'm talking literally right now and when someone will hear or see this, and I have no idea what developments will have happened, and I have no inside information, and I consider Diana a friend of mine. So we'll just wait and see. I don't love this for a number of reasons, and so we'll just see how the story that was reported by the New York Post develops. Both parties, worth saying, have denied. Vrabel says these photos show a completely innocent interaction, and any suggestion otherwise is laughable. This doesn't deserve any further response. Rossini said the photos don't represent the group of 6 people who were hanging out during the day. Like most journalists in the NFL, reporters interact with sources away from stadiums and other venues. Page 6 reported that both of them, who are married to other people, had breakfast on the patio of the hotel restaurant around 10:30 a.m. on Saturday, and then blah, blah, blah. So you can go look into it. I don't know what's going on. I, again, don't love it for a number of reasons, but we'll keep an eye, okay? We'll keep an eye. While we're keeping an eye, And this sort of pivots us to the WrestleMania of it all, as we have Charlotte Flair coming up in a second here. Did anyone happen to see the CM Punk promo that he cut? He said a lot of things. He took aim at a lot of things. Ticket prices for WrestleMania, for one, which I think is great. You know me, I like anytime wrestling kind of breaks out and does a thing it's not supposed to do. I was just wondering if anybody saw who else he might have targeted.
You mean Pat McAfee?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
He
How
said
had we
it
not?
so
How had nobody
quick.
said that
He
before?
said it so quick that, maybe if you weren't paying, you're like, oh, he said McAfee. It's very clearly calling him Pat McAfee.
And what took us so long there, I guess, is my first question. How did we not get to that sooner? How did we, literally, Brady and I, how did we not come up with that sooner?
The talent of CM Punk. Damn.
I know it's probably a work or a shoot. What's the right word? But
Work is when it's made up. Shoot is when it's real.
right, it's probably a work, and I say that because like WWE was like heavily promotional about the clip once it was made. It doesn't change for me whether or not it was cathartic, and it was a little cathartic. He had a lot to say. It did remind me to check in on Pat McAfee's album because as fans of him who work in sports media, he had announced when he released his single Dookie, he had announced that this was only the first of what would be, to quote him, 7 or 8 tracks that would be dropping over the next weeks and or months. Very vague.
He was just taking a temp on his target audience.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think you're reading that right. I think he found out that the temp was ice freezing cold, that nobody was interested in hearing any more songs. And for me, too bad. You said 7 or 8 over the next weeks or months. It's been weeks and months. This happened before the Super Bowl. Here we are in April. So I went to check in to see, has he released any other songs? And I went to Pat McAfee on my Apple Music, one song. It's Dookie. So, okay, I scroll down and there's something called Similar Artists. And under Similar Artists, there's an artist called Program Music. Now, if anyone has even tried to turn on ESPN at any point and run into the Pat McAfee show, you know that they refer to the show as the program, that they're always talking about it being a program. So I'm like, this must be, the picture for it is the words Steve Bisciotti, who is the owner, yes?
Owner of the Ravens, yeah.
And so I'm like, this must be related to this. Maybe he released his music, but as somebody else. And I found under Program Music 5 songs. Free Agency Frenzy, Hellebuck, the goalie for Team USA in the Olympics, Steve Bisciotti, Audi Crooks, and Committed. And these, I believe, are AI-generated songs that the show makes for news items.
But then puts on Spotify?
Yeah. Well, I'm on Apple Music, so I don't know if it's on Spotify. I assume.
Fair.
And I'm not saying anything definitively, but it certainly feels like he's using AI to make music. And that was probably what he was doing with that album that he announced that never came out. Here's why it grinds my gears. Here's why it sticks in my craw. Because it's like, if you are a punter and you find out you have a knack for talking about sports, and then you're doing that successfully at the top of your game, and you also happen to be musically talented, I'm not going to tell you can't put out an album. I'm not going to tell you can't pursue all of your passions, that you can't explore every avenue of creativity that you feel inside of you. I would never restrict you from following your dreams. This is slop. This is not your dream. This is a revenue stream. This is treating music as if it's just a chance for you to make more money, which you're making so much money. You're on ESPN every time I turn on ESPN. You're on WWE anytime I turn on WWE. Like, you're everywhere. So for you to need to make music and then we find out it's just AI slop is like, isn't anyone going to say something of like, you're kind of overstepping here?
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wants to say anything. You guys don't want to get in this beef with me? I'll have it alone. Me and CM Punk.
No, I'm there with you. You're right.
It's just like,
You're right.
if you feel like you've got music in your heart, Pat, and you want to get it out there, great, let's try it. But if you're just going to do this,
You're diluting your brand.
which
Is
at
what
this
you're doing.
point,
At the very least,
Yeah.
you're diluting your brand.
at the very least. All right. I really thought that was going to be a hit with you guys. I thought you were going to be rolling around, slapping your knees, really laughing at how funny that was. And it didn't go over the way I thought. So
No, it's because you know how I feel about AI. Is that
I actually don't
even
know
if
how
Pat
you feel
wants
about
to make
AI.
music, even if Pat wants to make music, if Pat's going to make music, then how many backing musicians are not working on this because it's AI generated?
Right.
Like, there's nothing positive that's
He
coming.
also
of this.
spent a
AI
lot of
music
time.
is just-
Listen, he spent a lot of time on his show talking about how he was working with these musicians that he met through Jelly Roll.
You knew Jelly Roll was coming up in this conversation.
That he met through Jelly Roll, and that they were like, we can turn your Notes app stuff into music. And he sold this like mythology of like, we got in the booth and we laid down these tracks. Where are they? I just, this is like
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We wanted to hear your music, and now I'm seeing you. It sounds like they just made a partnership with some AI music thing, which cool, I guess. Did you see that the Pope blessed Jelly Roll?
What?
All right.
Anyway, let's take a
Pass.
break. I think we should take a break.
Just pass.
Really had me giving Catholicism a side eye. That's what did it. Jelly Roll. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, you guys, Charlotte Flair is here. It's crazy. I get always so anxious when I interview a wrestler because chances are I'm going to ask something I wasn't supposed to ask. I get stuck between, am I talking to Ashley, the person, or am I talking to Charlotte Flair, the wrestler? I think she actually did a really good job of helping me traverse this. We went through big moments in her career. She's done so much for women in wrestling, so we get into that a little bit. Lots of interesting stuff with WrestleMania coming up. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Charlotte motherfucking Flair. Okay, guys, we are joined now by an incredible guest, a true queen from the WWE, promoting, obviously, WrestleMania 42 coming up in Vegas, April 18th and 19th, which you can stream on ESPN Plus in the U.S. and on Netflix internationally. It's the one, the only Charlotte Flair. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, first of all, we have to start with happy birthday.
Thank you.
It was just your birthday last week,
It
Easter
was,
Sunday, right?
yes.
What's that like, sharing a birthday with like a holiday?
It's usually at WrestleMania. So I looked at WrestleMania as a holiday too.
That's so. Mine usually collides with the Super Bowl, so it
Oh,
it ends
yeah.
up being I'm at like working for it anyway, so you can totally relate. But it looks
Yep.
like, at least from the carousel I scrolled through on your Instagram, that this year you did have like a nice party.
I did have a nice
fun
party.
time.
It was fun. I was feeling it Sunday.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, your makeup, perfect all the time.
Thank
and now
you.
I don't want to have a female athlete on and discuss makeup, but I do, as a lady who does my own and who is nearing 40, have to ask, what is the secret? Your beat is always perfect.
Well, he just went to get my other outfit. I would say he is my secret sauce.
You just
He
have
ju-
to
he just
get a
knows my
guy who
face.
knows how to do your makeup
Yeah.
and does it perfectly every time.
Yes.
Are we using a setting spray?
Yes.
Multiple?
Multiple.
Yeah. Can you tell me afterwards which
he
ones?
just does a really good job.
I'll ask him. I'll ask him when he gets back here. Look, I know you've been doing a lot. You've got a lot of promotion for this going on.
Yep.
So I kind of wanted to start somewhere a little different and a
Yep.
little weird. So we are Casuals. We're a podcast for casual fans. And obviously we will talk all about wrestling and what wrestling has meant to you and what you have meant to wrestling in a second. But you did start out, you played volleyball in
Yes.
college. And volleyball's kind of starting to have a little bit of a moment
Yep.
along with other women's sports. So I wanted to talk to you about like why you chose volleyball when you were younger, what you liked about it.
Okay. Wow, no one's asked me that. Actually, I feel like I kind of feel like my dad chose it for me. I was a gymnast until middle school. Well, till 7th grade. And then I also played middle school basketball and then got into all-star cheerleading. I kind of did a little bit of everything. And then when my parents, not my dad, but my mom, they were like, you have to make a choice. And I really loved all-star cheerleading, believe it or not. But I couldn't keep up with that schedule, and I decided to go out for the volleyball team. And I made the team, and then it was just doing that schedule, and I think the varsity team I made the varsity team as a 9th grader.
Whoa.
So I just stuck with it. My parents put me in camps, and the rest was like history.
You're just naturally really good at it.
I feel like I'm a better wrestler.
Yeah.
But
well,
like
I mean,
I was good.
Incredible
Yeah.
wrestler.
I liked it. I liked it more than basketball.
What where were you on the court? I don't know if the position.
I was an 0-2.
Yeah.
So played just as much defense. Yeah, outside.
Sick. Have you seen any of the hype around volleyball? They're like building this new league.
Well,
They're like
it's-
putting it on TV.
Yeah, because one of my goals is to invest in a female sports team, and then someone actually brought that opportunity up to me with one of the volleyball teams.
Yeah. So you're
So,
thinking it's with your
thinking
people.
about it, yep.
You're considering. You're running the financials. You've got to do the balance sheet or whatever.
Yeah.
But that would be really cool.
It would be cool.
That would be really sick.
Because I know
especially
there's a
'cause
lot of opportunity with basketball and soccer
Yeah.
at the moment, but
Yeah.
with this new league for volleyball too. So
Yeah.
that's something in the future.
a lot going on in women's sports right now.
Yeah.
Which is exciting. You've always been really vocal about how some of the advancements made across other women's sports were really helpful to you. I know you've talked about Ronda Rousey, how she doesn't get enough credit for when she came from UFC to WWE and was able to make that switch the way that kind of helped women be taken more seriously at WWE. But you've also mentioned the women's national soccer team as being helpful in that way. So I'm just curious to know your thoughts on like how it feels to be sort of a part of this like huge moment for women's sports.
Yeah, I think the biggest messaging is when you invest in women, or like they deliver. It's about giving them the opportunity, the time, the spotlight too, and that's how it's been for the women at WWE. And it was in 2015 when my core group debuted. That was when the couple years prior, Ronda had been like the face of UFC. And then the women's soccer team winning and what they were able to do. It's like, yeah, when they're given the platform and the time and the investment, they're just as big of like women's basketball this year.
Yeah.
It was impactful.
Yeah, they got their deal done.
Yep.
They're starting their season in like a couple weeks. The draft is next week. And yeah, there's just between that, the PWHL, which is the Women's Hockey League, they've got a lot of momentum around them right now because of the Olympics and the women's hockey team winning the Olympics as well as the men, but the women more importantly. So it just feels like a lot is happening. And I feel like looking through your resume, you're like you could say, some have said, I don't want to make you say, but you are like a real GOAT for women in wrestling.
Thank you.
So many ways we could attack this question, but I guess I want to know, like, do you feel that? Do you keep your shoulders back? Are you walking around like, I helped build this thing?
Yes.
Yeah, good.
I don't go around saying it, but I take pride and I value what I've been able to do. And
it's
I
a lot.
want to still do.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a good thing. Good question.
Yeah.
Because we just said you turned 40.
Well, Lindsey Vonn this year.
I'm not
what she
pushing
did.
you out. I'm not exactly. I do have to ask, only because I'm curious, as again, another woman approaching 40 who has not seen nearly as much success as you. When do you have to start thinking about what the end will look like? Like, when do you have to start going like, okay, am I going to retire? Do I want to go out fighting? Do I want to just take a step back and reassess? Like, what is your mindset and approach on it right now?
None of that.
Good. I like that.
It's unfortunate that those sentences happen because I feel like in our industry or my industry, men don't reach their prime till 40. So
How old's
why?
How old's CM Punk?
48.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess because I started late, like I didn't start wrestling. I didn't win my first title till I was 30, where the girls now, like, which is awesome. A lot of people are in their younger 20s. But I, graduated, had the awkward 20s of not know what to do. And then wrestling came later in life. But saying that the men don't hit their prime till 40, why am I not hitting my prime now? Why is it that, like, I don't look at it as, yes, I realize that I think it would be easier for people to label me in that box, but I'm not going to let anyone put me in that box. And I hope women in any profession who are about to turn 40 don't think that that is a slowdown or an end game, but if anything, if this is whatever industry that you're in and sport, like Lindsey Vonn did, it's whatever you are capable of and are willing to do and put in the time. And I started out, like, I'm very fortunate. I started out on top. It might seem like my career is longer, but I just have had the opportunity to be at top
You're like,
of the game.
sorry I keep winning.
Sorry
that I do keep winning.
And now I'm not going to say sorry anymore for
good.
winning. And I'm not going to age out of my career. I'm going to quit when I want to quit.
Good.
I'm going to lace it up when
And
I
that's
want to
not.
lace
It sounds like that's not soon.
No.
Good. I saw you say something recently that was like, I'm just starting to
Get good.
get good.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's not the end in your mind in any way. You're like, excuse me, I've just finally figured out what I'm doing out
Well,
here.
I do feel like if no one knew how old I was and you saw me out in the ring, you wouldn't look at me with the group of girls and be like, oh, she's been here for 10 years and she's 40.
Yeah, can confirm. You don't look 40.
No, but it's just unfortunate because that's how society, and I think it's changing slowly, but like 40 has had such a stigma around it where now I'm like,
Especially for us.
for women, not men.
Yeah.
Women get better.
I feel like jokingly...
men get better, women get older?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm only getting better. So what does that make? Like,
Yeah.
but I feel like if we don't let that dialogue like sit back there, it's like, no, like, here's the thing. It's new territory.
Right.
It was new territory when I debuted in 2015 and it's new territory now.
Yeah.
So I hope I am part of the progress of changing that.
And here's the thing. As somebody who's been observing you from afar, I can say pretty confidently, I think that you will be because you always have been. In fact, I did want to ask you this. You are the last diva title holder, so it is gone, which I think for a lot of women represented a good thing because moving on from that language, but also I feel like there's empowerment in it a little bit. I just wonder how the term diva feels to you now. If it's something we've like taken back and turned into something, strong and powerful, or if you just, as the last reigning diva, how you feel about that.
I felt empowered by it.
Yeah.
One, it was the first title that I held. And at that time, I've never been known for my looks. I've always, my strength was my athleticism, which I'm not laughing at it. But like for me personally, it was like, I'm an athlete that can hold a title that's labeled as a diva and you can be both. So that's how I looked at it. And when I retired it wasn't like we're retiring this because it's negative. We were retiring it to debut a new title that the women hadn't been given that opportunity to have and to rebrand, relabel, set a new standard. But it wasn't like we're getting rid of this title because it's bad. It's like, no, it was like part of the history and part of the progression too when I became the inaugural Raw Women's Champion and the new branding. It wasn't like a negative. It was just like, okay, we're rebranding, which everything should be rebranded. I've rebranded Charlotte this year. So it's like, it wasn't a negative. And I still, like today, I want to be called a diva. Because like, it's not, it's how you look at it and phrase it. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a diva.
Yeah. I love that. Especially because like you are one. So you can't, the definition of diva doesn't define you. You kind of help define diva.
Exactly.
And you're a strong, powerful, incredibly talented, athletic, beautiful, independent woman.
Yeah.
Period. You said you got to your career late, that you got to figuring it out in your 30s to wrestling. You obviously grew up around wrestling, your dad being Ric Flair. So how... what was the journey to you deciding to enter into the business that you grew up around?
I will try not to make this so long-winded, but ultimately, my little brother always wanted to be my dad. And he had a really bad drug addiction throughout my 20s. Everyone in the family was trying to get him on the right path. He was trying to get into WWE. And in 2012, Reed and I were at the 4 Horsemen Hall of Fame induction for my dad. And my dad and the producer were trying to light a fire under Reed's ass. So basically they were like, hey, Ashley, do you want to do this? And Reed's looking at me like, hold on, you're going to get to WWE before I do? And I'm like looking at him and he was like, oh, we could do this together, blah, 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 blah. 3 months later, I report to the developmental system, which was FCW NXT. Now, at the time, thinking that, okay, I'll get in, Reed will get in, I'll help him get on the right path. We'll live together in Tampa. And then when I got in, he actually passed away 8 months later. And then I just dedicated the rest of my career to him. And I always say I spent so many years trying to save his life and ultimately he saved mine. And I always say this, but like, I admire the fact that like he had a dream. I never had any, like, I liked Gabrielle Reese growing up, but I didn't have like these like grandiose aspirations or thinking like nothing that he had. So if he hadn't had all these things that he wanted to be, I don't know if I'd be where I am today.
Man, it's so interesting how much your family is tied to what you do.
Yeah. It's emotionally taxing.
It's kind of what I'm hinting at. I can imagine that every time you do this, not only is it difficult and strenuous for your body, but it's kind of a lot on your brain.
Yeah. But it's better now.
Yeah. Good. All right. So you wrestle, you get into it, you become so successful at it. You hold so many, there's so many times in your Wikipedia where it's like, she's the first woman to, she's the first woman who, she's the first woman that. What's that like?
I don't have some like crazy answer. I guess because it's really crazy that I never wanted to do this. And then I just happened to like you said, like the first woman to do all these things. But it was just like when Reed passed, I just threw myself into this business. But again, like the girls that I came up with, whether we're all on the same page or not, me, Becky Lynch, Bailey, and Sasha Banks, like it's so cliche, but had we not all started in developmental together and them all wanting to be professional wrestlers and then me being the oddball of the guy that like they looked up to, and then what we were able to create together and then come to the main, it was just, I don't know. It was like my future was already written for me. It's really, I mean, I just like, sometimes I'm like, damn, how did I do all this? And like, what would Reed say? Like my brother who wanted to be a wrestler, his whole life. And then here I am walking into my 9th WrestleMania this year.
That's absurd.
Which I don't know if anyone's ever done that and fighting for every single title. So it's like, I don't know why I get to be here and he doesn't, but I don't even know how it's like, it's such a crazy story when you think, like, it's not because you're like, oh, she's just a child of a wrestler who's been a wrestler. Like, no, like my path was never, or my future never had this. I didn't like sit at home growing up like a lot of the women do, being like, oh, I want to be like her or her or her. I just got really lucky.
But you've also worked.
No, yes,
really hard.
Really hard. I'm saying like, what if I hadn't, decided to, pack up that U-Haul and go to Tampa? I don't know where I'd be today.
Yeah. But it's almost like you were always going to pack up that U-Haul and go to Tampa.
At some point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are clearly meant to be doing this.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're very, very good at doing this. Women's wrestling in general in a very different place from when you started.
Yes.
How much of that has been a fight that you feel you've had to like really roll up your sleeves and get in on the behind closed doors side? And how much of it is the fight sort of just being and doing what Charlotte Flair does?
I think it's more that.
Yeah.
I think there was no blueprint, no expectation. A lot of people I don't think 15 years ago could believe that women main evented WrestleMania, that they were main eventing Raw and SmackDowns, or that there could be a division like there is today, especially with the group I came up with. There was never a time where we go, well, we couldn't put on a better match than the men. And thinking that wasn't like, just because we're women, that we couldn't tell as good of a story or hit just as hard or given that time create what they do. It's just we didn't like limit ourselves to that. And I think that's been the biggest factor is knowing your worth and your talent in a male-dominated industry.
Which is a real challenge sometimes.
Which is a real challenge sometimes.
But honestly, I mean, so much of wrestling is storytelling. And if it were up to me, I'm hearing most of my stories from women. Those are the best storytellers in my life.
Yeah.
You know? So that makes sense to me. Can we talk about Unreal? Because this is the hardest part for me about talking to wrestlers, is there are two halves, right? There is the Charlotte Flair, right? And then there's Ashley, the actual person. And there's a lot of, I get so worried that I'm going to put you in a position where you have to compromise the story of but it is fascinating to me that there's a reality show about the WWE. And I know there was a lot of reaction when it was announced of people being like, we don't want to see behind the curtain. And then there were other people saying that, well, you won't really see behind the curtain because the WWE is never really going to let you in behind the curtain. I know you've been in both seasons of the show. What is the experience like as a person that's in it, both the WWE and then a reality show about the WWE? Does that is it as confusing for you as it is for me, or because it's like your life, it's not as hard to separate?
So Punk said this best in an interview at some point this past year. For my character specifically, I feel there was a point where people could not separate the two. Mm. So where here I'm thinking I'm playing like an incredible bad guy and the best bad guy of all time. People couldn't be like, okay, well, there's her and like she's just a bad person. Mm. So when Unreal came out, I didn't even know really what I was shooting for or what had transpired behind the scenes, but it gave people a different perspective of me without me having to give my a perspective of who I am as a person. So it's done wonders for.
So it's been helpful.
It's been helpful.
Interesting.
Whereas I understand where some people were like, oh well, it's hurting the integrity of the storyline or this and that. But for me, well, that's fine. But people really thought that I was just that evil witch, Charlotte Flair.
Yeah.
So for me, it's given me a peace of mind where people realize she's just a really good freaking bad guy.
Yeah.
When did that be a bad thing?
Right.
So because I kept the integrity of Charlotte for so many years,
damn,
Unreal was oh my God, she's human. She bleeds.
She's actually a nice person.
She cries.
Yeah. Fascinating. Okay, that makes a lot of sense because I was thinking about media literacy and how we're not getting better at it. And I've seen people get mad at fictional characters, the actors who play fictional characters on TV. And it's you got to think they're doing such a good job that you hate them, but you have to separate the two and how that must be for you. But turns out Unreal allows you to go and by the way, I'm so good at my job that since my job was to get you to boo at me, that's what I was supposed to be, but I'm actually not a boo-worthy person. So now here's a follow-up question. When you get booed as Charlotte, which is you doing your job, I know right now you're not really on a heel run, but when you are, it doesn't hurt, it feels good.
No, it feels good. I mean, it felt good for most of my career.
Because you can just say that show. It's like getting cheered. It's essentially a measure of how successful I'm being.
I think because I was looking at it in such I'm Ric Flair's kid.
You are?
No, but I'm I get it. It's there's nothing to like. I mean, I never understood. I'm wait, I'm really gifted athletically, but because I've learned so much over the years, but it's you never want the say Alabama wins again. The Yankees win again. The Patriots win again.
Yeah. Not this year.
Not this, no. Very true. No, I get that. But then, that was my job to roll with it. You want me to all of a sudden, it's a character. The character wasn't built to lose. But yes, this storyline that I've been doing and losing last year, it's been I wouldn't change it for the world, but I think it's just easier to dislike that character up until now than it was to like the character.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you hate her sometimes? Charlotte?
Yeah. Do I hate her sometimes? No.
Good.
No.
And you really did think about
really
it.
did build this woman that I wanted to be in my personal life.
Yeah. Which is kind of nice.
So it's she's I wish I was more like my character sometimes than I was in my just take no shit.
I was gonna say, do you measure yourself up against her sometimes?
Not anymore. No. I mean, not like that.
I
but
would.
I just
It
wish
would be
I was
fully
like
forgivable
she's
if you did.
So like put together, and the investment I put, like I wish I had invested in myself as much as I did the character. But now it's like both. Like I've had the most fun I've ever had this past year, showing layers of like what made Charlotte so perfect was the imperfections and the losses versus all the wins, and like tying that in has been so much fun.
You've said a lot about Alexa Bliss, who is your tag team partner.
Yeah.
And what it's been like. I know that you guys are like the reluctant friends trope almost. But you've been kind of honest about her, like helping you unlock another level of what you do. How is it like the power of female friendship?
Just I've been a solo act for so long.
Yeah.
And she is a standalone character herself. So where like Alexa Bliss doesn't need Charlotte Flair and Charlotte Flair doesn't need Alexa Bliss, but together it's just like money. So that's been fun. And I also think on a personal level, knowing each other's careers, not that we've been best friends for 10 years because we haven't, but there was so much respect there for each other that helps, I think, when making the best thing possible. Like I don't have a moment where I don't think, oh man, she's going to like do something like undercut me. Like you have to trust the person that you're like sharing this with, and I trust her.
That's really special.
Yeah,
it's really nice to have a.
Well, it's hard to have that in any industry where you're like
competing,
and you're trying to win the fans over, win your boss. Like it's just, but like with her, you know, there was always going to be competition. You always want to be the best, but it's like what we're making magic together versus it like being so just solo. Like we're both shining in whatever we're doing together.
It's really sweet. And I'm excited to watch your tag team match at WrestleMania. You guys are in the Fatal 4-Way match, right? It's the Bella Twins, who we love here at Casuals. I also love Bailey and Lyra Valkyria, and then Nia Jax and Lash Legend. So
I have history with all of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's really good.
Yeah. A lot of depth.
A lot there. An absolute, and it's so hard. It's so fascinating. My favorite thing about wrestling is watching because I'm marrying into a wrestling fandom. My fiance is a huge wrestling fan. He knows he's like encyclopedic with his knowledge. So what I like to do is when we sit down to watch a match and he'll go, okay, here's the history. And he'll tell me all of it. And I like the way that these matches will make time for each little wrinkle of it, where like knowing that will help you go, oh, this is extra interesting because of the history. And there's so much history in that match. You said this is your 9th WrestleMania. We got to do which one you liked the most and which one you hated the most. Because I think there's some answers people would think you would say, but that maybe you liked more. I don't know. I'm interested to know which one you for yourself.
Okay. I think the most important one was WrestleMania 34. WrestleMania 34 against Asuka.
Oh yeah.
That match, there hadn't been a women's singles on the card in 10 years. So for many reasons, that match was important for women and for myself and for Asuka.
I love Asuka, by the way. She's one of my faves.
Me too. Iron sharpens iron. That match, and then my least favorite, I plead the fifth.
You don't want to say, do you want me to say one for you? Do you want me to
I plead the fifth.
A suggestion for you of which one might be the one you didn't like? You also didn't even say your favorite. You said most important. Which one did you like the most? Which one was the most fun to do?
The most fun.
Like in the moment, you actually were like, this is awesome.
It's probably going to be this year.
Yeah. It's a good tease. Everyone's going to have to tune in to see it.
Probably the entrance, everything. It's like, it's different. It's going to be different.
What does that mean?
It's going to be different.
All right. I'm tuning in. Let's really talk turkey here, okay? I would like to talk about your fashion. That's right. It's important to me. So you've had some iconic looks in the ring. Obviously influenced or touched by the legacy of your father.
Yep.
We have gathered some of your most iconic looks, Before we get into those specifically, what's the process of designing or creating or coming up with what you're going to wear? I'm sure there's a whole team, but do you have a say?
Well, you really wanted how this all like really started. So again, turning 40, keeping up with the times, right? So when
Okay.
I was out with my knee, I was like, you know, I've always been into suits. I love a good suit. I've always worn kind of the same, like the leather jacket, the knee-high boots or whatever. So I was like, I'm really going to invest in exploring different outfits, even if I feel uncomfortable. So when I came back, I just started having fun with it, and then it turned into a life of its own. So that's really where like the outfits and the fashion was. And then I got into it. I'm like, oh, this is really fun. And then the gears, I'm just that again, like the more you invest in your character or your brand, it takes a life of its own.
Right.
So
So it's like maybe not where you were focused originally.
So that's again, when I started wrestling or when I debuted, all I ever thought about was being the best wrestler. So for like 8 years, I didn't really like put effort or thought about the way I looked. And then like as time has gone, like, oh, this is actually like really fun. Where like I got the wrestling part down. How can I get the second part down?
Yeah.
So
That's fun. It's like a whole new layer of it that
Yes.
actually helps you from overthinking the wrestling part of it.
Exactly.
And instead you go like, oh no, clearly I've got that figured out. Now let's play with this a little.
Yep.
Have you learned anything like, this fashion trend does not work in the ring, or it's like, don't set yourself up for like a wardrobe malfunction? Is there any absolute no's on your costume?
I've
that
had
you're
a
like,
few
I
wardrobe
won't?
malfunctions, unfortunately.
I mean, they're bound to happen.
Yeah. I just own it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should wrestle in the robes. I don't know. No, I really but when the guy that I work with, Brian Valentine, when he first started working with me, when I was out, he would like try to get me to wear I'm like, no, this way, nope, nope. And then now, like 2 weeks ago, he was like, I'm really like painting your nose green right now, and you're not saying anything. Like, I absolutely love it. So we've come a long way.
I love that. Let's start at the beginning. Let's go back to September 20th, 2015, Night of Champions. This is when you won the Divas Championship. How would we describe this look? How does looking at this right now make you feel?
So the belt, I always wanted to dress like Paige because she was everything I
Shout
wasn't.
out Paige.
So the belt is Paige inspired. The gear, I'm not really sure. Let's not whip that out again.
It's nice. It's pink. It's two
cute.
pieces. There's not a lot to it. It's understated, but
Based on budget.
right.
And
I'm
contract.
sure. I'm absolutely sure. I'm sure.
The bedazzle just grew as the years grew.
These will get more elaborate. Let's go to April 7th, 2019. This is WrestleMania 35.
Oh, that looked couture.
Incredible. Stunning. The feathers. Were they annoying? Did they fall off a lot? Like when you
No.
get cheap stuff for Halloween, they fall off. But I
No.
imagine when it's nice like this.
No.
Look at you. I could look at you. Look at this for a while. You are. This is. This
Like,
feels
look at that.
powerful. It's powerful. Look at you
that.
with the belt and the purple. When you first
And
tried
my
this
helicopter behind me.
on, yeah, sick. When you first tried this on, were you like, yeah,
That was cute. Yeah.
no
That was
notes?
good.
You said no notes.
No
Take
notes.
me out.
No notes.
Beautiful. Okay, our next
maybe
one.
if the headpiece was a little bigger.
Okay, bigger.
Bigger.
Go bigger. The next one we have is 2025 Royal Rumble. This is
loved.
returning from the ACL tear, right? That was
My brace is bedazzled.
beautiful. Did you do? You didn't do that. You didn't
Absolutely
bedazzle the
not.
brace. Is it? Did you lose any jewels while you were out there that like flicked off while
I'm
you
sure
were?
I did.
That's so funny. I mean, what a look. Is this your favorite? Would you say?
But I like the red robe.
It is sick. I would keep that on. I don't think I could do. Whenever you guys get to the ring and take the robes off, I'm like, that's where you lose me. I couldn't. I'd be like, no, please.
My boots are bedazzled too.
I mean, the whole thing's bedazzled. It's top to bottom.
Budget.
How do you decide what you're going to do with your hair?
Oh, just situational.
Are you just always hair down?
hair down?
Hair down, maybe like
Once in a while, I've done a ponytail. but
right. Is that sort of like you figure that out when you're younger? You're like, oh, she's a hair down girl. This one's a ponytail. This one's a...
No, it's just my little brother always made fun of my ears. So I was trying to keep them covered.
That's really funny.
He used to call me
What's wrong with
Dumbo.
them? They
I
stick
guess
out?
they're big.
I got weird ears too, but they don't stick out. They're just like flat.
Oh, mine are there.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll come across a tweet. Damn, she's got big ears. I'm like, that's what you're looking at?
And also, yeah.
Like, why are you looking at my ears?
I've given you so many other things to look at. How could
But I
you
guess if that's the
possibly-
meanest thing you have to say, I'll go with it.
If they have to zoom in and enhance, that's how you know you're doing okay. Let's go to your look from WrestleMania 41. This was April of last year. Now,
Stunning.
it's stunning. Is exactly
Stunning.
right.
Stunning. My signature colors with pink. The blue is my signature color, but I wanted to do a pink like my dad. And those are ostrich feathers. And
Is that
usually
heavy?
use chicken.
Heavy
Oh,
or
that's like 70 pounds, that robe.
damn.
It's heavy.
Damn. Do you still have these all somewhere? That's very cool. Do you ever put them on?
No.
No, of course not. That's what I would do. But I have a childlike understanding of how your life works. You look like a really interesting gender reveal where it's like we don't actually learn
Oh,
anything.
yeah, that's good.
We don't
That's
learn
good.
anything, but it is either a boy or a girl. Maybe it's a boy-girl
That's
twin
cute.
situation. In this one, I feel like this was against Tiffy, right? I feel like Tiffany also wore pink.
That was not planned.
Now, do you guys coordinate ever?
Typically.
You do, but that time you didn't?
I just wasn't asked.
Got it. And so you came out in pink, she came out in pink, and then other things happened. But we don't have to talk about that. We're here to talk about the clothes. Let's do the Survivor Series from 2025. This was November of 2025. This is a different look for you.
Yep. Yeah. Probably my most important look to me.
Why is that?
So the little girl that I'm holding, like if you see where I'm doing the heart hands,
Oh, yeah.
she's matching me. And there's little Easter eggs that are important to me all over this gear. And it's dedicated to her and
To Scarlett,
to Scarlett.
a little girl who's fighting a brain tumor. She designed this.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. Yeah,
I know.
No. Brian designed it. But we got her a matching jacket and hat. And there's little Easter eggs on the gear that mean something to me. But she wears them too. So we like plan to match together. And I made her a little set for WrestleMania this year too, and her sister. So
They'll be there.
yeah, they'll be
That's
front row for me.
Really, really sweet.
Yeah.
This says she's 7, but I assume that means now she's probably like 8.
No, she'll be 7.
Okay, got it. She's turning 7.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. And look, I like it. It looks nice on you. It's very cute.
Yeah.
This stuff, on the face, the jewels on the face.
The jewels, yeah.
How are you not? You're wrestling. How is that not coming
it
off?
It sweats off. But
Yeah?
it's just for the entrance.
Okay. Because I just don't know how. I can't get my makeup to stay on, and I don't fight anybody. But by the end of the day, my makeup is off of my face.
Oh no, mine is too.
You guys look amazing still at the end of every
No,
match.
my glam guy's always like, where'd your face go? You're
It's
out there
on a lady's
You're out
leg.
there for 30 minutes or 2 minutes, and your face is gone.
Of course. But I'm telling you, watching, it does not look gone. I have no idea the secrets that you guys must use to keep this makeup on your face, because you all look stunning.
Thank you.
All the time. Do you feel, I don't want to say burdened by that, because I do feel like you've been talking about stepping into your more feminine aspects now in like later years of your career, but is it like a struggle to have to be hot all the time?
You know, again, like when I first started, I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
But I didn't like understand the importance of branding and like I had the robes, but that more came from like, wanting to pay tribute or a nod to my dad.
Right.
I actually am more comfortable in my own skin now than I was like for the first like 4 or 5 years of my career, but this sounds like I don't mean it in a.
You're like, I just wake up this way.
I feel like I'm only getting better
I
at
know.
like with time. So
That makes
But
perfect sense.
I'm not like.
But it's just, I feel like having to be hot and good at wrestling feels like a huge ask that we don't always ask of the guys. They have to be good at the wrestling, but they don't have to be hot, like hot.
I don't care about the hot. I'm like
all the time.
You guys only have to buy these black tights.
Let's talk heel or face. Which is more fun to you? Being a babyface, being beloved by the crowd, or being hated by the crowd? Which do you enjoy more?
I think it's easier to be hated. I think it's way harder to be loved.
Do you think that as a woman, or do you think that in general?
I think that in general.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to be hated than liked.
When you are being hated, is it fun? Because you're almost like allowed to be the person you know you're not supposed to.
I feel like I've been hated for most of my career. Right now, like, being loved feels really cool.
I've also kind of feels like you deserve it. Like, it feels nice to watch you be loved.
No, it's like be seen. Like I feel like I'm being seen, but not just for like Charlotte, but like me too. Like they've been on this journey with me for 10 years and they've seen the highs and lows, whether I've talked about them or not. So it's like, man, like it really does. The cheers feel real and organic versus like not storyline based, not like not anything except like they're cheering because they're like, girl, we see you. You got like, great job for getting back up. And that's what it feels like.
And that feels...
And then cheering for Lexi and I as a tag team because like we're a really good tag team.
Yeah.
So the work too, but both.
Yeah. Which, again, it's not my life, but from observing yours from afar, that feels like a really nice chapter.
It's a good chapter
to be in.
Yeah.
That's like a really exciting one. And we'll look forward to the results of the next step in it on April 18th and 19th, WrestleMania in Las Vegas, which again, you can stream on ESPN Plus in the US, or you can watch on Netflix internationally. Charlotte Flair, thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks
and
for
being
having me.
here. And Ashley, thank you so
Yes.
much for being here today.
Oh, thank you.
This is awesome.
I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Okay, welcome back. Big thanks to Charlotte Flair for coming by. That was awesome. Isabella, she's such a bad bitch.
Oh, she's so cool.
It's
I love her
crazy.
outfit. I was like, wow.
I know, she's so cool. Are you gonna watch WrestleMania, Isabella?
I don't know. I don't even know how.
It's like next weekend, and
Okay.
it's on. It's what did we say? It was you can watch it if you're gonna be international. You could watch it on Netflix, but it's on ESPN Plus, I think.
Okay. I'll take a look.
Yeah, beautiful. That's all I ask. Just take a peek.
I'll take a little peek, see what's going on.
Charlotte's
we
match, I
usually.
believe, is on Saturday.
Oh, okay, great. And that's. I mean, it really is. She has so much history with everybody in that, so like they could do a lot with it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I what? What was that?
I
I liked it.
Fuck. Of course you liked it, Chris. Heyo. This is where we usually check our inboxes, our voicemails, our emails, the various things that you send in to us. Chris, you got some good ones for us today?
I do. The first one is from John, and John really wants to know the answer to this question because John has emailed in a few times, really desperately curious about your answer to this question. So John writes in and says, "Hi there. I'd like to arrange private sport lesson for my kids.
Oh.
Any spots open, and where do you train?"
Okay. Well, didn't we early in the early stages of this podcast, didn't we get like a karate, somebody trying to get their kids signed up for karate lessons or something?
like that.
Is
that
this
also
the
John?
same
Is John
guy?
back?
I did a search of all of John's emails. 4 came up. I didn't see that one specifically, but doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't him.
Casuals with Katie Nolan at gmail.com is the email. So where is the typo happening? Where is the miscommunication? Who does he think he's emailing?
Also, just sport, no specific sport, just general.
I want my kid to be one-on-one with somebody. What kind of sports and when do you do? What?
Also, he called it sport and not sports. Does that mean he is
British?
a foreigner?
Could be. Where do you train? Well, mostly.
And train instead of practice.
Yeah.
He says sport instead of sports, and he says train instead of practice. I think we've got an Englishman or an Australian.
Isabella, if
Mine.
we had to teach this kid a sport, you and I,
Mm-hmm.
because we're the only ones in person, right?
Right.
What sport you think we could convincingly charge this guy to teach to his kid?
We didn't play the same sports, so that's
I
going to
know.
be kind of tough. I mean, I could do tennis and you could do softball.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't even actually know who. It says my kids. So there's multiple kids. We've got no ages. No genders. We've got no information. No sport defined. But I would email John back if you could, Chris, and let him know that on Tuesdays we do a t-ball out in the park.
Yep.
And Isabella does tennis lessons
At
on-
MSG.
At MSG on Saturday nights.
And then
All
we
right.
do
I'll let her
drills
know.
in Penn Station
That's right.
beforehand. Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
right. Okay.
Wouldn't be
thank
the
you.
weirdest thing I've seen at Penn Station.
Stop, John, stop emailing us. We don't do it here, okay? It's a podcast. What else do we have, Chris?
We have a voicemail from Hillary.
Okay, let's listen. Sorry.
Hey, Katie, it's Hillary. Can you talk about figuring out how to tell what pitches are when you're watching them on TV? Like, oh, Brian Wu just threw a sinker. I'm new-ish to baseball, and I'm trying to learn, like, the nuances. So this year, my goal is to figure out what the hell pitches they just threw. All right. Thanks, you guys. I appreciate the casuals, and love you. Bye.
I love this. I absolutely love this
Aw.
voicemail from Hillary. I love it for a number of reasons. Number one, I like to hear her go like, my goal for this year is to get better at this specific part of watching baseball, because that's really what watching baseball is. And that was me like 4 years ago. Now, high stress for me because it happened while working baseball. So I don't recommend that. I also will say this is one of the harder things about baseball. I'm still not very good at this. I've gotten better. There are certain pitchers that have certain pitches that are easier to identify. Like there are certain sliders that move in a way that have a lot of horizontal break that make you go like, oh, I see that. I recognize that. My bit of advice, starting pitchers going into a game, go on. What is it, Brady? What's the baseball reference one I'm thinking of that has
Fangraphs or Baseball Savant?
Baseball Savant. Go to the Baseball Savant page of the starting pitchers for whatever matchup you're watching and just look. They'll usually put this on the broadcast too, but they don't leave it on screen the whole time. Just look at their pitch mix. So be familiar with what they throw. A lot of guys will be like, okay, they've got a curve that's at about this miles per hour. They throw like a four-seam fastball that's this many miles per hour. A lot of times the speed will be the easiest way for you to immediately pick up on which pitch it is that they're throwing. And I think almost every on-screen graphic that I've seen across baseball will at least tell you how fast that pitch was that they just threw. Some of them will tell you what pitch that was that they just threw. And those broadcasts get tons of tiny kisses from me because it is the best thing where you don't have to go like, what was that? It tells you. And that I think rules because then you can casually pay attention to it, check it and go like, wow, he's thrown that sweeper like 3 times in this at bat. Like that's where it helps you along. But
I
not.
actually have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, Isabella?
I was raising my hand, guys. Is a changeup a type of pitch, or is a changeup what you call it when they change the type of pitch?
It is a type of pitch.
Okay.
Yeah. It is a type of pitch that is a speed change from your other pitches. So it's usually to catch, slow things down and trip people up.
Gotcha.
You usually have like 4 fingers or 5 fingers on the ball to slow it down rather than like the 2 for a fastball.
Yeah, you throw it with the same arm motion as a fastball, so
Well,
you're not.
Brady's got a
He's
baseball.
got a baseball
in his
in his
hand.
hand.
I hate it here.
So you're not turning your wrist like you would slider or like you would curveball or breaking ball. You're just throwing it straight forward, but the number of fingers on the ball and the grip is going to slow it down. So like to the batter, it looks like your arm motion is a fastball, but then it's coming in 8 miles per hour slower, and that throws off the timing.
A lot of the most interesting stuff about these pitches is something called tunneling. Is that what it's called? Where it's like they look and travel at the beginning of the pitch.
And then they
exactly the same. And then one pitch will go straight and one will like drop off.
Yeah.
And so to a batter, in the moment you have to make a decision, those 3 pitches look exactly the same until they move. It's fascinating. And once you crack this open, baseball can become such like an interesting, intricate. But do not beat yourself up if you can't watch a pitch and go, that's this. The most obvious one is a curve. A curve is going to look like it came out of their fingers and up. It goes like up and down. Most of them is like that sort of ephus type of shape. That I think is the easiest one for me to spot. But again,
I did this.
Go ahead.
I did this exact thing 3 years ago. I really wanted to be able to learn to identify the pitches, and the thing that I would try to zone in on was what you said with the speed of the pitches. The only issue is
Sometimes
I would say, "Hey, that's a slider," and I wouldn't know if I was right or wrong. So I'm like, "Oh, cool. I guess it was." And so there wasn't that instant feedback to be able to tell me if I was right or wrong.
It does exist. If you go to the game cast of the game, which is where the screen looks like a cartoon batter, and you see a cartoon pitcher, and it shows you where the pitch was. It's so you can like watch the game if you're out somewhere, but without watching the actual game. It will tell you how fast that pitch was, if it was a strike or a ball, and what the pitch was. So if you really do want to fact check yourself, you can. But I would say just start slow, start simple, look at the pitches, let that inform you, and then you'll start to notice on your own. And then before you know it, you'll go like, damn, he struck him out on a backdoor slider. And people around you will go, what does that mean? And you'll just go like, look it up. Go on Baseball Savant. It'll come to
Email
you more
casuals with
naturally.
Katie Nolan.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're doing, it sounds to me like you're doing a fantastic job, Hillary. And I love this voicemail. And good luck on your baseball journey. Shout out baseball. I love it so much. I hate it. I hate the Red Sox, but I love it.
One more point about that. Sorry, Katie.
Yeah, fine.
Is when you have the interest in learning pitch types, it makes the games more interesting. It allows you to zone in and not have it as sort of this background entertainment for, however long you're watching it for. It helps you be able to, really zone in on every pitch and have, that instant gratification every couple of minutes because you are so engaged in every pitch.
I agree. It also helps you like appreciate the pitcher and the way they work their way around the strike zone and the way they approach each batter. And you go like, there's so much to this that like you don't think about or have to think about as a viewer, but that can be really fascinating to think about. If you're, say, a person who goes like, baseball's too slow. It's like, okay, then start paying attention to the pitches because then you won't have enough time. I remember when I was keeping the book while I was in the booth, I wanted to know like, okay, he struck out. What did he strike out on? So that next time he came up, I'm like, are they going to try to strike him out again on a high fastball? But trying to write it down quickly enough to move on to it moves so fast in those moments. So that's the best thing about baseball is depending on like how much attention you can give it is how detailed of a game it can get. Let's stop yapping about this and go to another, we have another voicemail, I think.
We do. The next one's from Robbie in Atlanta.
Let's hear it.
Hey, Katie, this is Robbie in Atlanta, and I have a question for you that I've been debating with my wife about the 999 challenge. So my home team, the Braves, they offer a foot-long hot dog, which is, I'm going to say, roughly double the size of a classic hot dog. And I wanted to know if I'm doing the 999 challenge, can I just do one foot-long hot dog, and does that count as two hot dogs, or does that count as one hot dog? It is obviously a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker than a regular hot dog. I'm of the opinion that it should be qualified as two hot dogs, but wanted to get your opinion on it. Love you, mean it. Shout out Isabella and Brady and all the casualties.
Thanks,
I purposely left that part in the edit.
Oh, wait, they didn't mention you.
What happened there?
No, I was mentioned as a catch-all casualty.
Yeah, it just said shout out to Isabella and Brady and all the casualties.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I would
We
have.
got beef, Robbie.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. To answer the question, look, nobody's really judging. There's no officials when it comes to the 999 challenge. It's sort of the Wild West. So I guess technically you could say that a foot-long hot dog counts as two hot dogs. I think if there were judges, just as somebody who's been around like the Guinness Book of World Records and how all that works, I think they would say you can't count it as two hot dogs. But they would say eat one hot dog's worth of the footlong and then get another footlong and eat one hot dog's worth of that. Because I don't think a footlong should count as one. That's you're doing too much.
That's too
You're asking the
You're
man to
gonna
eat 9
die.
feet of sausage.
Yeah, you'll die. I don't think your blood can handle that much salt at once. So I think maybe
Unless you're a Joey Chestnut.
Right. Yeah, true. What a dumb thing to say when famously somebody eats 90 fucking hot dogs every year. I just think you'd have to do a specific preparation for if you were going to eat 9 of those. But I could see somebody going like, that doesn't count. You didn't do 9 hot dogs. I would say just like, don't do footlong hot dogs. Since there's no judgment, you can just say, you can do whatever you want. I told you I got tall boys for beer because we could not get cans of beer that were regular size. And so we just did like, that counts for 1.5, I think we said, beers. We did the math on the ounces and made sure that at the end of the day, it totaled ounces. Now, you're not going to bring a scale into a baseball game and weigh the hot dog. But I think if it were me there at the game with you, I would say rip it in half and it counts as 2.
I agree.
Yep.
And maybe I'd make you eat one extra half. I would say you have to eat. Yeah, you'd have to eat because it's 9, so it's not even. So you'd have to get 5 footlongs and eat those. That I think would be equal to hot dogs for me.
I feel like Robbie wants to be told that it's okay to eat 9
Clearly,
hot dogs.
clearly that's what he wants to be told. And it is. In the grand scheme of things, you could drink 2 beers and tell everyone you drank 9. Anything can happen. I just think if we're going on integrity, I would say since you'd have an extra half left over, I would just say you also have to like eat some of that as like a make good. Fair?
Yep.
Okay. Any others? We got anything else?
We got one more. We got an email from Brody from Wisconsin. Brody writes in and says,
Brody?
Hey, Katie and the Casualties. I'm an extremely new baseball fan. I've always been interested in the sport, but found it difficult to get into for various reasons, like thinking the game moved a little slow, and I also wasn't sure how and when to watch games. With the introduction of the pitch clock, I found myself enjoying the game a lot more, and I started watching the Mariners at the tail end of last year, or the pointy end, you could say also.
He could, but
I
he
was
didn't.
gutted when their playoff run ended before the World Series. Now I am all in. Obviously, I'm rooting, in parentheses, Chris, I mean cheering, for the Mariners, since they were the best team/story that captured my attention last year. The problem is I live in the Midwest, so I'm not going to have many options to see them in person. They're coming to play the Twins at the end of the month, which is the closest they'll be to me, so I'm going. My question is, what is the practice for attending a baseball game live? When I watch broadcasts, it doesn't seem like there are ever any fans of the away team in attendance, or at least so few that I can just never see them. Is it normal or even accepted to go if you're not rooting for the home team? Either way, I'm going, but I just wanted to know if I should or should not show up in Mariners gear. I can totally go undercover. Love you, mean it.
What a good question. I will say from what I've seen about Minnesota games so far this year, tickets shouldn't be an issue. It's been pretty empty, I feel like. Am I thinking of a different stadium? Am I getting
It's a red stadium, but also like you're talking about late March, early April in Minnesota, and you're asking people to show up and it's 28 degrees out there.
I'm just saying this sounds like it's happening. When did he say it was?
End of the month.
End of the month. So I'm just saying. I think the protocol is dependent on the teams, and there isn't some big history I'm not thinking of between the Mariners and the Twins, right?
I don't think so.
So it's and you would know because you're baseball like that. So
David Ortiz's first 2 teams. I mean, there's not really
I don't think they square
rivalry.
up about that. I think the blood is fine. So I feel like you could wear your Mariners stuff, and I think some stadiums are cool and nice about that. This goes across all sports. Some fan bases are more welcoming and accepting. I saw a Yankees fan at Fenway for the Red Sox. Who are they playing right now? Brewers series this week, and I'm like, you're just an asshole.
I saw a Yankees fan at a Mets-Dodgers game. I'm like, what are you doing here?
They just want to be acknowledged. They just want you to go, I see, good job. Really good job. You wore your jersey. So don't be that guy, But I think if you're going to watch the team that you support in a different city, most of the time, sometimes it's going to be a safety issue. Like, I wouldn't recommend a newer, more casual baseball fan show up in socks gear to Yankee Stadium necessarily. Like, you just could be inviting the vampire in, if you understand. But I think that, like, you're safe. And now this is an interesting question because I know Isabella, next week, you're not here, what is this, all week? Are you gone all week next week?
No, just the beginning of the week.
The beginning of the week. And you're going to be in L.A.
Yeah.
And you're going to a Mets game. That's your team.
At Dodger Stadium.
What is your plan for attire?
I was planning on wearing Mets gear. I have a cousin that lives out there, and she's gone to a bunch of Dodgers games, and she reassured me. She's like, there's honestly a good amount of like New York, New Jersey transplants out here, so I don't think you'll be like alone with like Mets fans at this game. Like obviously it's going to be dominant Dodgers, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds right to me. In a city like that where a lot of people move and come from all different places, but I wonder if in Minnesota, I mean, aren't they famously nice? Isn't that their whole thing, Minnesota nice? Aren't they like nice people? So there's no way. And listen, my experience with the Mariners fan base is basically was the same. They were so nice. And so I feel like these are two pretty nice team fan bases, and there shouldn't be any issue. Brady, do you disagree?
Usually you get the energy you give, right? Like if you're not an asshole, opposing teams won't be an asshole to you. You got to show up ready to have something like in defense of yourself. Like when last time I was at Camden Yards, Twins were in town, and we sat with what?
He didn't mean a weapon. He meant something to say, I think.
Oh, something to say. Yes, I'm not saying you
Well,
don't
what
need
if
a
I don't
shiv
have something
on
to
you.
say either, and someone comes by, you fucking loser, with a Mets jersey, and I'm like, why?
Just start crying. That'll be fine. Then they'll go, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you were a sweetie and a cutie.
I'll be like, wait, no, but I really like Shohei Ohtani. I'm just not a Dodgers fan.
Don't cave immediately.
I'll eat a Dodger dog in front of you. I don't know.
I love the Dodgers. Actually, it's my bitch boss. The bitch host of my podcast won't let me. All right.
If you're not an asshole to them, just stand on it. Be like, this is our year for the Mets. Like, just root for your team openly.
Yeah.
You're great.
Yeah,
You're
just being supportive of your own team. You're not being like, ha ha ha, another run scored against you losers.
And you guys see me on the news.
I was going to say,
week.
which to be clear was me. That was when I got removed from Madison Square Garden as a Bruins fan for when I went to a Bruins Rangers game when I was still in college. And they were like, ma'am, you're inciting a riot. You're trying to antagonize people into fighting you. You have to leave. And I was like, says you. And then I did leave. I wasn't going to actually argue with them about it. That's just and listen, Brody, your name isn't immediately obvious. I don't know if you are an asshole. I have met Brodies who suck. So I think it sounds like Brody's a nice guy. But Brady's point was, as long as you're not an asshole, you should be fine. And I think I completely agree. Have fun. Enjoy the stadium. Because if you're going to be a Mariners fan and this is the stadium I assume he lives closest to, this could be like a stadium you go to a bunch. So enjoy yourself. Try the food. Oh, we forgot to correct the record that they do have a dessert. What was the news story on that, Brady? That it's...
The Mets egg roll?
Yeah. What was they do have a dessert one? Because we kind of, Swilly and I gave them a hard time for not having a dessert
Yeah, it wasn't
egg
like
roll.
a special that they were doing that they attributed to a specific team. It's just something that they have on the menu. Is it?
like a rainbow cookie
Yeah.
Oh.
inside the egg roll.
Wait, like an Italian rainbow cookie?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually... It's not what that wouldn't have been in my top 3 guesses of what the egg roll would be. I would have gone like churro,
Cannoli.
cannoli, cheesecake.
Or like fried ice cream.
Yeah, but that I like. I'd try and it's in a egg roll or it's chocolate. You think in the
No,
shape
I think
of
it's
it
a regular.
No, I think it's an actual egg roll.
with a rainbow cookie chopped up inside of it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to take a look at a picture because I'm not seeing the vision. But to
Other
correct the
food-based-
record, Citi Field does have a dessert egg roll, and we're sorry we besmirched your name. We were just looking. None of them are signature egg rolls for visiting teams.
Other food-based email correction we had this week. So we gave a lot of credit to Augusta National for paying for the Masters Champions dinner. We said that of course Rory's going to pick the most expensive
What?
menu that they have there. It was $318 a plate for the Masters Champions dinner. Like, why wouldn't Rory do it? He's not paying for it. Turns out Rory is paying for it.
What?
Like, the Masters champion is the one who pays for these dinners. So it's extremely expensive for Rory. It's already happened, I believe, but it's coming out of his pocket. $318 per golfer. Now Tiger's not there, so it's minus $318 for him, but still, it's an expensive dinner.
What is the average cost per plate for a wedding?
$80? I'm trying to guess. I
mean,
got
that
mine a
is
while
so.
ago.
And how many plates? Because if you're paying,
Approximately 30 to 35 people typically attend.
It's not that bad.
I was right. Let the record reflect. It is still
29
that
to
bad.
34.
Yeah, but if you're spending the per plate, you also, I would assume, have to hire the people to cater it. You have to hire the company that is.
I think Augusta have like their own chefs that are part of it. Sometimes I read that certain golfers will get their family members if they have a specific dish that they were inspired by their mother or a family member. They'll get them over to cook the dish as well.
Crazy.
Really
Expensive, a tradition unlike any other.
Really, yes, correct.
Really, yes. Really, yes.
Really, yes, correct.
Correct. That's from Casualties, the third member of our production team here.
Yep.
The rest of the casualties, a.k.a. Chris. Hey, I think that's it. I think we've probably been talking for 3 hours, so I think maybe we let the people go. Thank you so much for listening to both episodes of Casuals this week and also watching both of them on YouTube. This one will be out on YouTube on Friday. That's youtube.com/Katie Nolan. Don't forget, if you want to email us about our karate lessons, it's casualswithkatienolan@gmail.com. Our voicemail 646-801-0043. IG and TikTok is @Casuals. The podcast. Long week in the news. So we got through it, you guys. And we'll do it again next week. Love you. Mean it. Bye. This episode is presented by GMC. We are professional grade.